Phoenix here, and today we're going to take a look at our first pirated game. Well, at least our first real pirated game, since Mario XP does not really count, since it's a freeware game. And as for Hong Kong 97, well, that was for a special episode, and well, you know, that game sucks. But anyways, today we're going to take a look at a game called Pocket Monsters on the Sega Genesis. It was also on the Super Nintendo as well, but we're going to take a look at the Genesis version. And it was released in the year 2000 and was developed by DVS Electronics Corporation. And this is a Pokemon game. Yeah, a Pokemon game on a Sega system. Isn't that weird, huh? Also, Pocket Monsters is what Pokemon is in Japan, in case you were unaware of that. Now, most pirated games don't really have a big epic story or anything, so basically what the game is about is that you are Pikachu and you have to get from one end of the map to the other. So it's a platform game, which is actually kind of interesting since I remember when I was a kid, I was always wondering if they would ever make a Pokemon game, but like make it kind of like Super Mario sort of thing, and well, I thought that was kind of cool when I was younger, and now this is it, and this is probably going to be the closest I'll ever get. But yes, this is a basic platformer game with an elaborate level design, and there are bosses that represent Pokemon that you may recognize from the series, and you also have to collect gems to get more points, which I really don't know why, but oh well. And if you press the A button and hold it, you can basically do the super attack, which you can destroy everything off the screen. But of course, you can only do it so many times. But now for the controls for this game, I think they're alright. Like, the jumping is okay, but the moving is a little bit slow at times, but other than that though, I think it's alright. And it can sometimes be a little bit hard to make your landing. But other than that, I don't have much complaints, but I'll be honest with you, I'm actually pretty surprised how well the controls are in this game, since most pirated games happen to have like really bad controls or happen to be really slow or just wacky or whatever. So yeah, this is actually a good start. Now as for the graphics for this game, they're pretty nice I find. They're actually very colorful. But something that is very common within pirated games, that usually when they take a pirated game, they usually rip some of the graphics from like other games, and this one has a bunch, such as Tiny Toon Adventure, Monster World 4, and Mr. Nuts. Now that game sounds really dirty, don't you think? But there is one thing I can't really get over that well, and that's just some of the enemies look really fucking retarded. But as for the good ones though, at least you have some like actual Pokemon such as like Beedrills, Polygons, and Digletts. But then you have some fucked up ones which are not even Pokemon at all, like such as like monkeys throwing apples, some rejected lizard looking thing, and a fat dinosaur and some other stupid shit. There's a lot. But did they really have to resort to that? Like, I mean, there's a lot of Pokemon out there. Even though I know this game was made in 2000, but there were still quite a lot at that time, so I really don't understand. Or maybe they're just lazy, so they just decided to just rip things out of other things. But I really do like the animation on Pikachu though. That was actually done pretty well. And, well, that's all I have to say for graphics, so they're actually pretty good, just some of the monsters are really stupid looking. Now, as for the music in this game, I think it's pretty shitty, to be honest. Not only does it just sound annoying, but it just repeats a lot, so yeah, you better get used to it. And I just find it just sounds really derpy sounding for some reason. I don't know, I just probably just don't like it at all. It just sounds really fucked up. But I will give them credit for one thing, is that the introduction to this game actually has pretty decent music. But other than that, the rest of it's just really annoying, I find. But the most fucked up thing would have to be the sound effects in this game. Like sometimes when Pikachu jumps and hits the ground, it sounds like a gunshot's going off. Now imagine if it was like that in the games or something. Also, when you kill an enemy by jumping on them, a lot of them make really stupid ass sounds I find, so not only do they look stupid, but they even sound stupid too. Like, listen to what this fat dinosaur has to say. Yeah, that's right, you better run, you pussy. And that rejected lizard looking thing sounds like Elmo from Sesame Street. Uh-oh is right, asshole. But overall, I think the music is pretty shitty, except for the main theme, that's actually okay. But for most pirated games, there is a lot of pretty shitty music though, but this one is not the worst that I've heard. In fact, hell, there's even games that are not like pirated that sound worse than this. For an example, the Naked Brothers Band game on PS2. Blech. Now, if you want to buy this game, now there are a variety amount of sites out there that sell pirated games, so if you want to buy pirated games, go check out those, and this is where you would normally find this game. Although it is possible to find pirated games within like local game stores, but not very likely. But if you do though, that's pretty cool. And as for the price, I'm not really sure what the pinpoint price of this game costs, since, well, it really all depends on what pirated games you want to buy, because it all differs. Also depends on the site too. But you can get this game out of a box and cartridge, which actually looks pretty cool, I find. And like I said before, there is a Super Nintendo version, and that one you can also get on a cartridge, which also looks kind of cool. At least I like the label anyway. And I don't know if I'll ever do a review of the Super Nintendo version though, but I do know that there is many differences between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo one, such as like the music, sound effects, the bosses are different sizes, and the controls. And of course there's many more, but that's just a little bit of it. Now if I had to rate this game, I'd have to give it a 6 out of 10. It's an alright game, but very good when it comes to pirated games, so I will give it credit for that. And it's not a very long game either. Apparently there's only 5 levels, which is pretty standard for these kind of games. And this game is pretty difficult. I was only able to get to the 2nd level, since, well, this boss is a fucking asshole. Like, you have to do a really obscure trick to hit him, unless you actually have some, like, superpower left to hit him, but other than that, though, it's really hard to do. But the one thing that does make this game really hard is that when you die, you go back all the way at the beginning of the level. There's actually, like, no checkpoints at all, which is, like, really stupid, but I don't know, I can't really complain too much, but still, it's just something that would have been nice if they put into the game. And of course the controls are not perfect, but for a game like this, it kind of suspect it, but it's not horrible though, so hey, that's a bonus. Also, there is one sequel to this game called Pocket Monsters 2, which I maybe might take a look at it later, but I'm not too sure. But overall, this game's actually not too bad, especially when it comes to pirated games, so I think a 6 out of 10 is as good as it is. Anyways, this is the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and commenting. Elmo Liz.